Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna be playing with RG Monk in the Ultimate Champion. So basically, the new update to Clash Royale has dropped recently, and right now champions don't give a 3-card cycle. So technically speaking, yeah, as you probably can see, there is a crown above the monk. So technically speaking, I can have multiple monks on the board at any given moment, and only the monk with the crown will be able to hit the ability. Also, I messed up the timing on this ability, which will suck a bit. My opponent most likely is gonna be playing Logbait or Lumberloon. Okay, I'm gonna play Evo Wizard like that, just to push back the balloon like this. I'm gonna try to take only one hit, and yeah, that's gonna be a very rough start, but I'm very thankful that I was having Evo Wizard to defend that, because usually balloon matchups are very difficult for me. So basically the plan is gonna be, I have to try to defend very well for the entirety of the game, and we can set up one push and pretty much win off that if we count our elixir well. So I'm gonna play the Fisherman to catch the princess, as like that. And right now we kinda have to just wait. Okay, my opponent's playing bats, which means I probably can play monk on the opposite side. He goes in for the Lumberloon, of which I think we already can start making some kind of counter push. My opponent will be playing snowball because he really wants this one hit, which, yeah, I think he needs this hit. And unfortunately, Lumberjack will clean up my entire counter push, which is super unfortunate. I'm gonna just hold a E-Spirit in case he plays a princess. There we go. We're not gonna catch the princess, but at least we've made an attempt. I'm gonna play another monk. But right now, actually, if he plays lumberjack, I want to kind of fishboy it. Yeah, I'm gonna play fishboy in the back. I'm not gonna... Okay, there we go. We're not gonna commit to a wizard just yet, because he may be playing the balloon on the opposite side, and indeed, he did. Right now, I think we're gonna commit with the RG on the opposite side. If he plays the princess, we're gonna instantly log it. And at this point, we're trying to basically get our damage back. I'm gonna fishboy this lumberjack. Fishboy will cross before the wizard, which means he's gonna be more annoying for him to defend. And right now, I think I'm gonna just go for RG at the bridge, because he has to get the tower on the opposite side, and he realistically cannot stop our move out with the RG, and there we go. We're gonna get right now a very lot of damage. The princess will be stopped. The lumberjack will be in fact dead, so that's very good for us. I'm gonna play a wizard, and I'm gonna play the monk at the bridge instantly to kind of threaten him with a deflection. In fact, he's not even going for a block at the bridge because he just given up. That was a very nice starter game. I would say a very difficult matchup for me to play, but we've managed to stay very patient, very calm. We always were threatening my opponent with a big push, and that's why he wasn't able to go for the Lumberloon for the entire time. We're gonna get also a one of these new lucky chests, lucky drops. 3-star gives me 175 mortars, so I assume the reward pool will be very similar. We're gonna see for the next 3 rewards as well, because as per usual, our goal in today's video will be to get the all daily rewards. I'm gonna cycle skeletons in the middle, and I'm gonna play the monk in same lane of the Valkyrie. Like I've said, champions right now don't give a 3-card cycle, so technically this particular RG monk may get weaker, and the meta champions may be those that are very strong on their own, and not just because they give the 3-card cycle for the player using. I'm gonna pop the monk ability right here, try to kinda injure the witch, like that. I'm gonna also pop the electro spirit, trying to get rid of the witch, just like that. And I'm gonna pull the ice whiz with the fishboy later. My opponent is playing vines, which is very interesting choice. I'm not gonna commit into the wizard yet, because he's gonna just play Valkyrie. In fact, I probably shouldn't have played this wizard. Now that I think about it, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that, because I could have activated the King Tower of the Valkyrie. This matchup that I'm playing right now is pretty much unwinnable unless you activate the King Tower with the Fishboy, so I would say even a very huge mistake from me. I should have let this Valkyrie go. And yeah, right now we have to play a bit more of an uphill battle. if I can say so. We're gonna wait for my opponent though. I'm gonna play Monk into the same lane, and if he plays Evo Witch in the back, I'm gonna have to have a Fireball plus Log combo to take it out very swiftly. And there he comes. The Evo Witch will spawn some skeletons. I'm gonna already log it, and I'm gonna Fireball it as well. Very swiftly to take... Okay, I'm not gonna take it out, that actually sucks. I'm gonna pop the ability to make sure that the Witch indeed dies. Okay, Witch will not die. That's gonna be a very rough defense right now. I'm gonna play a Fish Boy, just to make sure. Okay, I'm gonna play a Wizard, standard defensive moves. I'm gonna play the Log as well, because he can pop Divines at any point. I really want to kill this Evo Witch though. Okay, there we go. We're gonna clean it up after taking a lot of damage. I would say a very rough defense, but not the worst position overall. We're down 1000 damage, but we certainly can still come back. I'm gonna play a Wizard. Like I've said, right now he probably will be more careful with his Valkyries, and he won't be playing them in easy spots, so this match will be way more difficult. Now, he played the Poison to kind of clean up everything. I actually don't know what I think about it. I really hope that he commits something onto my Monk, and he does. Okay, I'm gonna Fireball the Ice Wiz, and I'm gonna play the Log onto the Goblin Hut. I think that's gonna be the best way of playing it. And right now, I actually will activate all of this Valkyrie, because like I said, if you don't activate the King Tower, you pretty much lose this matchup. Okay, he plays Vines, which is super cool for him, and definitely not for me. I really hope that... Okay, I'm not gonna get an activation, that actually really sucks. But right now I'm gonna get an RG connection, which still may be good. I missed the Log, which is... yeah, which super sucks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'm gonna play the High Fish Boy, try to distract some troops. Yeah, this position is not good at all. I'm gonna try to get a good Fireball to kinda get away with that. Yeah, it's gonna be a very rough position right now. We still can come back because we have the Evo RGs, stuff like that. But it's not gonna be easy. Okay, my opponent plays Ice Wiz on the opposite side, definitely not a bad move. I'm gonna play the Fisherman on the side, trying to pull the Evo Witch. Okay, he pulls the Valkyrie, which is super bad. I'm gonna actually deflect the Evo Witch, like that. I'm gonna play the Monk as well. And yeah, right now we have to be very careful about this defense. I'm gonna play the Log to kind of clean up the graveyard. And I'm gonna play the Fish Boy here. Yeah, his Evo Witch is still alive, by the way, which... I won't say it's broken, but it's certainly very strong. Now his Evo Witch, the same that was still alive, lock onto the tower. I'm gonna play the Log and the Fish Boy to knock up the Witch. Yeah, that was a very, very annoying matchup. Log to defend. My opponent certainly is sure that his poison will finish off the game, but he even takes it with Evo Valk. Yeah, very difficult matchup. Once you don't activate the King Tower, so I would say pretty important mistake at the start of our game. I think I have to be more careful about those, because I just wanted to mindlessly cycle to my Evo Wizard. I think it was a very instructive game, because if I don't play Evo Wizard, then I can just play the Fish Boy to activate the King Tower, and it becomes way more easy in the future. Okay, next matchup against Jacob. I think we threw him a good luck. He throws a Barbarel first play, which honestly, for my knowledge, it still can be anything. I'm gonna cycle the Wizard in the back. Cycling to Evolution, usually not a bad idea at the start of the game. And my opponent plays Poison, so it may be already a Graveyard indicator. Okay, my opponent messes up the Goblin Hut, which is super good for us. I'm gonna even commit the Fireball to these minions, because he already messed up the Goblin Hunt, so technically it's 4/4/7 for us. And now he commits the Barbarel as well, so we got away with a very nice damage lead in the start of the game. And we're gonna pretty much follow it up with some good gameplay. I'm gonna play the Spirit in the back to counter the Goblin that will exit the hut. But right now, I think we're just waiting for my opponent. I'm gonna play Evo Wizard into his Switch, in hopes that I will still be able to set up a good sequence against his Evo Witch, but I also think that my opponent's deck will be more expensive than mine, so banking on that, I don't think it's gonna be too big of an issue. My opponent is playing Poison, which is like a huge spend, so I'm gonna right now pretty much commit a lot of Elixir on the opposite lane. My opponent will be still defending with minions, which is a lot of damage. And right now I think I'm gonna just eat these minions because I spent 7 for 3 on the opposite side. I cannot allow myself to overspend when my opponent has Evo Witch in cycle, so we're gonna be playing just patiently. We have damage on both sides, definitely a healthy advantage, and right now, like I've said, I think we will have to just play very patiently and just play into his Evo Witch. I'm gonna play the Wizard first and just wait for the progression of the situation. I'm gonna play the Monk as well, and I'm gonna play Fishboy as well. We're gonna be playing the Log on the graveyard to kinda clean up the skeletons. Wizard definitely helping out though. We're gonna get away with a very nice position. In fact, I'm gonna already go in with the RG, and I'm gonna predict the minions just like that. So my opponent right now has to play the Giant Skeleton. There we go. I don't think he had any better option for stopping this RG Wizard push. And right now it's gonna be very difficult. Okay, these Pure Goblins unfortunately survive, so I won't get my very aggressive timing, but I can still get Log Fireball combo against his Witch. And that's gonna, I think, be very good. I'm gonna get a Wizard here. I'm gonna get the E-Spirit as well. Yeah, this graveyard will get a lot of damage, so I would say pretty significant mistake from me. The Fishboy fortunately won't pull the Giant Skeleton. He wasn't fast enough to kind of think about that. So that's gonna be good. I'm gonna actually commit to a Monk, just to kinda start some kind of bridge fight. I'm gonna also pop the ability to kinda injure his Evo Witch. So we're gonna actually win a bridge fight, just like that. The Evo Wizard should get the final hit against Evo Witch. There we go. We're gonna get a very nice cleanup. We're gonna get a Skeletons plus Fishboy defense. In fact, we're gonna still commit the Monk because I just am not taking any chances with this graveyard, and it's gonna be a very good position for us. My opponent is actually playing a very smart Giant Skeleton here, so we're gonna play something else. Fortunately, the Monk was played, Monk got the crucial knockback against this Giant Skeleton, and my opponent wasn't able to cheese in the win. That was actually a very scary situation. And yeah, playing Fishboy against Graveyard apparently is a big no-no because my opponent can just play Giant Skeleton into that. So that's gonna be my lesson for the next games, because I played this Fishboy very mindlessly. Like I've said, it is something that you have to be kinda worried about if you're playing against Giant Skeleton Graveyard, because Fishboy seems like a very nice, at least temporary tank for a graveyard per se. But if you let it live for too long, your opponent can play Giant Skeleton and it's gonna be on the tower, so kinda have to keep that in mind. I'm gonna play RG actually to tank for the Ghost and for the Spirit Empress. We're gonna see what's gonna be my opponent's response. Yeah, he's gonna be tanking it with the P.E.K.K.A. That's definitely a play. And right now that's gonna be actually a very annoying push to defend. I'm not gonna protect this Wizard because protecting it will be definitely very expensive. In fact, I'm gonna play something like that. I'm gonna try to get the Spirit Empress being targeted by the tower, and my opponent is actually bridge spamming me very well. So yeah, in this matchup against Spirit Empress, definitely the Monk plus Fireball will be the clutch interaction, because Monk plus Fireball fully counters the Spirit Empress. I don't have the Monk in the first hand, so it was a bit annoying, but right now we have the cycle fixed, and my opponent gets a pretty nice zap, I would say. I'm gonna go for the RG at 0, because I have a hunch that he doesn't have the best response against that. He may be actually... Okay, he's playing P.E.K.K.A. Okay, that actually might not have been the worst for him. That's gonna be right now a very difficult defense. I'm gonna play the Wizard, the E-Spirit. I'm gonna play the Log against Barbs and the Skeletons against the P.E.K.K.A. So I think I'm not gonna lose the tower on the left side, but it's gonna be super injured. Yeah, that was definitely not a good RG. I wanted to kind of skill check my opponent, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. And actually looking at the entire play. I think it was purely because I didn't have the fish boy. I played fish boy against his royal goal, no, against his bandit, and that's why I wasn't having anything for P.E.K.K.A. So definitely a play to think of. I'm gonna play the ability to deflect the Sprint Empress, like I've said, a very handy interaction, and I think unfortunately we'll have to kinda eat the damage from the Evo Battle Ram. I'm gonna try to get my wizard on top of the Spirit Empress, and I do. Nice. I'm gonna now have to play very swift roll Giant. I'm gonna stun the roll Ghost, trying to get some extra hits in. I'm gonna also double stun it, trying to get another one, but okay, I'm not gonna get another hit, so pretty unfortunate loss. I wouldn't say I played without mistakes, but definitely definitely a difficult game. I would say the biggest mistake was playing Royal Giant on the opposite side when my opponent had a P.E.K.K.A. in cycle. If I recall correctly, I still couldn't do it, even though he played Ghost and a Zap at the bridge. I thought he's gonna be more low on elixir. Apparently after the Zap we are even, so yeah, this Royal Giant definitely not too good of an idea. I thought I was up like 2 or 3 elixir, but apparently it wasn't the case, so pretty good read from my opponent, getting the win right here. We're gonna try to get next 2, and so far actually I don't notice too much of a difference with my Monk. Of course I don't get to play the 3-card cycle, and I wonder how much does it hurt me. But like I've said, there are some decks that fully rely on 3-card cycle being a thing, so these probably will fade away from the meta. I'm gonna play the fish boy here, so my wizard still keeps shooting. I'm gonna actually play the RG as well. I want to get aggressive now that he has wasted his recruits. And I'm gonna hold the fireball for Zappies. He's not gonna be playing Zappies though. Interesting. Alright, so right now we're in the reset position. My opponent probably will be playing Royal Hogs on the opposite side, so I'm gonna just preemptively block that lane with the E-Spirit. Okay, right now he's playing Zappies on this lane. I'm gonna get a fireball, get some damage. I'm gonna hold the skeletons as well. Let's see if my opponent actually... Okay, my opponent will not commit to the Royal Hogs. He's gonna play arrows instead. That's interesting. I'm gonna actually leak some elixir, because even though I'm up elixir, I cannot like sell out on my advantage. I have to actually wait, and my opponent apparently likes waiting as well, which I don't like from him. Royal Giant generally is way stronger in double than the recruits, so as a recruits player you probably want to get as much of an advantage as possible in single elixir, so you don't have to deal too much against the Royal Giant player in double. I'm gonna set up the wizard, pretty standard stuff, and we're gonna be pretty much playing video games. I'm gonna play the fishboy right here to kinda kite all the recruits. Kinda sucks that my wizard lost his shield, but it is what it is. I'm gonna play the RG. My opponent will be playing a very good fireball. I actually didn't realize how good it was until it dropped. I'm gonna play the lock to sneak some hits, and my opponent will be playing Zappies, so yeah, I think I'm gonna now play the wizard to kinda counter all of that nonsense. I'm gonna play the log here as well. Yeah, that's gonna be a very annoying defense. He got a lot of stuff for him. I'm gonna play the monk in the back right now. I think my goal for this push will be to set up some kind of monk RG wizard pushes to kinda cycle to my Evo RG, because Evo RG is pretty much the only thing that kinda carries me in this match. My opponent will be playing Barbaro, which I'm not a huge opponent of. I'm gonna set up the wizard as well. The Zappy will die, which is super cool, and we're gonna actually eat the opposite side Zappies. I don't think it's gonna be too big of a problem. I'm gonna play the fishboy right now to counter the recruits, and wizard actually will be fully countering my opponent's things. I'm gonna play the monk right now, and I'm gonna pre-play the ability, try to deflect something. I actually don't deflect anything. That super sucks, if I have to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna play the fishboy low. I'm gonna play the wizard as well. Okay. Okay, that's gonna be super annoying defense. In fact, it's gonna be game ending, GG. I don't think he's gonna go all in. On the opposite side, definitely a good play from my opponent. I just wasn't seeing this play. Probably should have respected him more. Play the fireball or two. Maybe play the wizard on the opposite side. Yeah, he just very well coordinated it all. I think the crucial point of this game was me not deflecting the... Okay, that's gonna connect. The crucial point of this game was me not deflecting the Barbaro and Fireball, which, if I got the deflection on, I would have been in a winning position. So my opponent pretty much gambled. And the most annoying part about that is that I gambled as well, and my gamble actually was correct, but I just didn't hit the correct timing. Okay, and right now apparently our gamble is correct, because we still took some damage from the battle ram, but the counter damage that we got is absolutely good. I'm gonna play the E-Spirit right now, I'm gonna play the Skeletons as well, and I really hope... Okay, I genuinely don't know why the boss bandit dash on my tower, but it is what it is. And my opponent plays P.E.K.K.A, so it's gonna be pretty difficult matchup, I would say. P.E.K.K.A boss bandit, like, is difficult for a very particular reason. Like, you have to save the monk for the boss bandit and Skeleton's Ice Spirit against the P.E.K.K.A. And if you kinda mess up this cycle and you get the opposite responses for those, you're gonna be in a big trouble. I'm gonna try to get a defense right now. I probably have to just suck this battle ram to a certain degree, and yeah, we're just in a very bad cycle. In fact, I think the game is already over, because my opponent just outcycled me at the start of the game, and there's nothing I can do about this right now. There's literally nothing. He's gonna just clean it up with Ewis. In fact, I think my best play will be to play the RG on the opposite side and try to get some counter damage on the opposite side. I'm gonna play the Fisherman, trying to predict something. That's gonna be a lot of damage, so honestly I'm not complaining. There may be some kind of comeback to be done, but I really don't see it happening for now. We're gonna play a wizard in the very back. My opponent will be playing the battle ram, so I'm gonna be playing skeletons to kite away everything. I'm gonna play the log as well to kinda stall it in its tracks. My opponent will be getting... Okay, I don't like this position. Okay, I think I've done the best job at defending that I could have, ever, but it still wasn't enough, GG. Yeah, my opponent definitely happy with this game, as he picked up a very nice one here. With the P.E.K.K.A boss bandit, like I said, the thing that you want to do is to keep the monk against boss bandit and skeleton's e-spirit against the P.E.K.K.A, and if you mess that up once, you're pretty much dead, and I just didn't know that he had them all together. Playing monk first play against his battle ram, then he played the boss bandit against my skeleton's ice spirit, and at this point it was just over. So yeah, I would say pretty good sequence out of my opponent. I'm gonna play a log right here just to cycle. Okay, because my opponent will be playing some kind of cycle deck. He's playing Mighty Miner, which won't grant him a 3-card cycle anymore, so in a way it is a pretty hefty nerf to a Mighty Miner, but it is still playable as an individual tank killer. It still can fulfill the roles of, let's say, mini P.E.K.K.A. I'm gonna get a fish boy here, trying to get a king tower activation. Actually, I won't get it, so very smart play of my opponent. I'm gonna get the RG behind it, and right now I think I want to just break his building. If I break the building, it's gonna be a very good position for me. And actually, skeletons push back the RG into a Tesla. Yo, that was a very wild move out of him. So right now the matchup is not looking too good for two reasons. First of all, we don't have the king tower activation, and second of all, my opponent has the damage advantage. So I would say not the best start. I'm gonna play Evo Wizard kinda to min-max. If I play skeletons, my opponent can just play a firecracker against that, so I would say pretty unfortunate sequence. There we go. I'm gonna actually play the monk and instantly pop the ability, trying to... Okay, I didn't even deflect the Barbaro, that's super unfortunate, and he gets the King Tower, yeah. As you probably can tell, the things are not coming well together. I'm gonna play the Fish Boy here. Okay, my opponent is playing right now very aggressively, and honestly, for a right reason. When I don't have the ability on hand, it's probably a good idea to be very aggressive as a Hog player. This Firecracker will die though, so we're gonna right now go for the RG. I'm gonna actually try to predict his... Okay, I'm not gonna get a prediction on his Tesla. I'm gonna still get a Wizard against his Mighty Miner, which I think is gonna get pretty good. Is gonna get pretty good job. I'm gonna play the Log to kinda stop everything in its tracks. I really hope this Firecracker doesn't get a hit, and it doesn't. Nice. And right now I'm gonna just cycle the Electro Spirit. I'm gonna cycle the Fish Boy as well. Pretty much at this point in the game, we're gonna be playing same lane. Except that my opponent has Lightning, which instantly changes the matchup. And right now we have to be playing the opposite lane of our opponent. And I think it's kinda too late for that, so we have to kinda commit to that push. I think this Mighty Miner will be dead, by the way. Okay, my opponent gets a pretty hefty Barbaro. I'm gonna play the ability right here to deflect the Firecracker, and at this point I think I have to get a very aggressive if I want to win this game. I'm gonna get a Fish Boy against his Mighty Miner. The Fish Boy will actually survive, so technically speaking he still cannot go with the Hog Rider into this lane. But we're gonna get pretty good RG damage. I'm gonna play Wizard right now, just to kinda try to stop everything in its tracks, and he gets a stun and he gets barely enough damage for a next hog shot. Yeah, that's a very bad gameplay. If I were to pinpoint any mistakes, I would say it was actually not knowing that he plays Lightning instead of EQ. That's the first one, which kinda gave him better chances of playing this matchup. And second of all, I think it was just a bad early game where I didn't get the activation. After I saw the Wizard hitting the Hog Rider, I should have noticed that it was already a the Wizard that's gonna kill the Hog, so I should have committed to killing the Hog instead of playing the Fish Boy in hopes of activating a King Tower. Right now I'm gonna play Fisherman on Lumberjack like that. Okay, it's not gonna activate King Tower, which sucks. Yeah, and we're gonna be playing against Golem. So against Electro Dragon, I think I'm playing RG on the opposite side, and I'm gonna try to force out something uncomfortable. I'm gonna get right now some RG hits, so as long as I don't die, I think it's gonna be still pretty nice. I really hope that Electro Dragon focuses on the tower before the Prince does. Okay, that's a tower for me and for him, so we basically tower traded. Pretty sucks, I would say. I'm gonna play the Evo Wizard. I actually have to waste it like that. That kinda sucks. Probably should have played it actually outside of the towers to not get too much damage, but it is what it is. I wasn't thinking about that. Maybe even could have played the Wizard right here. My opponent will try to stick to his tower, which honestly maybe even a smart choice. I'm gonna play Fish Boy at the bridge, trying to kinda bait out some uncomfy responses, and unfortunately he has a very comfortable response in minions, so we're gonna kite these minions with the skeletons. I have to, I think, play a fireball. And at this point we have to defend a golem while being a tower down. I would say pretty unfortunate circumstance. I'm gonna right now play the Roll Giant because he will have to play something on this RG, or I'll get the counter push on his King Tower, which is pretty much the thing that I'm hoping for. He plays a Prince indeed, so he splits up his push in a way. I'm gonna play a Monk against the Golem, which I think is a good defensive troop against that. I'm gonna play right now a defense against the Lumberjack and the Prince, and I'm not gonna pull the Lumberjack. That super sucks. Okay. The Prince won't do too much damage, and okay, the Fish Boy won't get anything done. The Monk will get close to a tower though. Yo, so much tilting in today's video. An Electro Dragon will, by the way, finish the tower, and I cannot do anything about it. He literally can play whatever. Okay. It's hard for me to act like I'm not being tilted because I am. Yeah, he's gonna just play Tornado. Okay, so I would say pretty good matchup for us, but we kinda fumbled the single elixir time. We didn't have the good distraction troop against his prince, and he kinda realized that very early, getting a very good counterplay against us. Pretty sucks. We're gonna get into the next game though, still trying to get these daily rewards. We're gonna see how it's gonna go. I'm gonna cycle skeletons in the back, followed up by Electro Spirit. My opponent is not responding, which is honestly not super weird in this meta. Yeah, he's still not responding. That's actually not helping my commentary. And once again, if it's actually a graveyard, I shouldn't have played a monk against it, because you have to try to get a king tower activated against that. And indeed, it will be graveyard. So once I get in, it just sucks. I'm gonna play a wizard though. I'm gonna play the very early monk to kind of try to deflect his barbaro, and unfortunately he's not even going for that, so it's gonna be a very bad start for me. And now he goes for the barbaro, but at this point is pretty much the ship has sailed, as they say. I'm gonna play RG at the bridge though, try to force out the Goblin Hut and the Valkyrie. Okay, he plays the Goblin Hut in the Witch, which I guess is the better response. I'm not gonna even log that. I'm gonna log later on. Right now, I'm still holding the Fishboy in case he plays the Valkyrie, because this is the interaction that you have to go for. I'm gonna go for the Electro Spirit to kinda counter all of that. And right now I'm just waiting for my opponent. I'm gonna play the Monk in the back. He plays the Valkyrie on the opposite side, which is the perfect opportunity right now. I think what we want to do right now is to go absolutely all in, so like RG, Monk, Wizard, and then try to get the Fishboy to activate as well. I actually won't be having resources to activate with Fishboy, but it is what it is. I'm gonna play the Fishboy right now. My opponent will not have Vines in store, which is super cool for us. I'm gonna get a log against those. And the RG actually won't get another shot, but we have the King Tower activated, which is pretty much the, like I've said, a very good thing that we can achieve in this matchup. I'm gonna play the Monk right now on all of this nonsense. Evo's Wizard definitely helps with that. My opponent plays the Vines to sneak in some damage, which is definitely a positive thing for him. I'm gonna right now get the Wizard against his Evo Witch, which is good. I'm gonna cycle my RG, because why not? My opponent is playing the Goblin Hut and Ice Wizard, pretty standard stuff. Unfortunately, I cannot do much about it. I'm gonna just cycle my regular Wizard. Simple stuff. I'm gonna cycle the Fishboy as well. At this point we have already activated the King Tower, so cycling the Fishboy won't be bad, because we don't really have to catch another Valkyries. We're gonna play the RG right now on the opposite side, and I'm gonna use the Deflect to kinda injure the Witch. I'm gonna play the Fireball against his Ice Wiz, because the Ice Wiz is pretty much the biggest counter to our deck. In what he has, he's gonna play the Vines to kinda immobilize the RG, which super sucks, because we had a pretty good sequence right here. I'm gonna play the Monk once again in the back, trying to get something done. My opponent is playing the Evo Witch right now, which will be tough to defend. I'm gonna play the Fishboy. If he poisons, it's gonna be pretty expected. There we go. And right now we're gonna play the Evo Wizard outside of the radius. I'm gonna actually use the Deflect to kinda injure his Witch. Right now we're gonna play the RG on the opposite side, Fireball on the Ice Wiz, and we're gonna get a pretty good log right now. Actually, my Evo Wizard died to his Evo Witch, which is super weird. I would have expected it to survive, but it is what it is apparently. I'm gonna play the Fishboy. At this point, I think our main goal is to play very energetically. I'm gonna play the RG at the bridge. Gonna play the Fireball on the Ice Wiz. I'm gonna play the log on the Spear Goblins, and right now I think we just have to go in. I'm gonna play the Wizard on the Valk. It's gonna actually splash the Ice Wiz, which is a huge mistake from him. I'm gonna get a lockdown. I'm gonna play the Monk right here, trying to get the Monk RG right now on the opposite side. And if we do, it's gonna be pretty scary for him to defend actually. I'm gonna get the Monk ability right now. He probably will try to set up a Goblin Hut last second, and he does. So we're gonna try to break it, get an RG hit, which is super huge, and at this point we're winning the game. We're gonna be playing E-Spirit to kill any skeletons, and we get it. Wow, that was a very difficult game. Even though we had the King Tower up, my opponent was defending really well. I'm gonna just end it at that, because it was a very good effort from him. Even though we have the matchup, my opponent still put up a very nice fight. We're gonna open another lucky chest, lucky drop, however you call it, and we're gonna try to close the video with the next game. We're gonna queue in and face Ahmad Cream with a classic challenge badge, so apparently he knows how to play the classic challenges. We're gonna see if he can play ladder against us. I'm gonna play the skeletons to start off the match. My opponent is still leaking by the wedge, which is super nerve-wracking. I'm gonna cycle Fishboy. I probably should have cycled Wizard, but yeah, I probably should have cycled Wizard. It's not too bad though. If my opponent plays Graveyard, by the way, it's gonna be pretty bad. Okay, he's playing Sparky, which also is bad, but from the different reason. Obviously, it's our matchup, so technically it's not even bad, but it's gonna be a bit tricky right now, because I have to counter this Sparky. And we do, and we get the Goblin Giant, and we get the King Tower activation. Okay, so we actually get away with this situation pretty nicely. My opponent was given a very good Sparky value in the single elixir. That's why I was a bit scared, because he could have gone on the opposite side, but he went with the Sparky same lane to taking kind of this value, so it's not too bad for us. And we're gonna pretty much get away with that. I'm gonna play the log on this pig, so it gets only one hit, and I think my other witch will also get one hit, maybe two. Okay, it's still fine. Right now we're gonna actually league, because we're definitely better in double and triple, so I'm gonna just wait for my opponent to make a move into me. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna be the game plan. Also, in terms of spell power, even though I'm down damage, if it comes worst to worst, I'm gonna be able to spell Psycho my opponent, which is definitely the advantage. And yeah, all we have to do is play very patiently, and we should be able to pick up a very nice win. In fact, I'm gonna try to kill this knight very quickly. My opponent is trying to get my monk, and he succeeds at that. I'm gonna try to protect my Fishboy. Unfortunately, I fell at that, but it is still good, because we at least have a monk alive. My opponent cycles the Sparky on the opposite side, probably tries to go for a tower trade. I'm gonna pop the monk ability actually, and right now I actually forced him to defend us instead of counterplaying, so his Sparky is pretty much getting countered for like the minimal cost. I'm gonna play the Fishboy to counter the monk, simple stuff. My opponent tries to get some pigs with the Mother Witch, which is definitely not the play, and right now we're gonna just get the push going. Like I've said, when we close down the position and we manage to make it a very simple game, where only one side can attack, the side that's gonna be attacking is gonna be us. So, ending the video on a pretty decent matchup. We're gonna open one more. Yeah, my opponent obviously not happy about that, but we're gonna open the last lucky chest, pulling some rascals. I would say not a bad ending to today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to, it sounds generic, but I actually want to grow my channel, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm uploading stuff like this pretty much every single day. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you tomorrow.